Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Bone Doctor, the webmaster and general owner of Walnut Hill Production Company. We're based out of Ridgecrest, California, and our prime interest in the recording industry is the production of theater pipe organ music. And we travel far and wide to visit several mighty Wurlitzers along the way: Robert Morton's, Kimball's, Page's, Kilgan's, whatever's out there, the Bartons, all of those. Yes, we have played many. And here in the house where I live, here in Ridgecrest, is the fabulous and mighty Conn 650 Analogue Electronic Theatre Organ. And this is Conn's largest instrument that was made in 1967. This one has 17 ranks and 3 manuals, an accompaniment, a grate, and the solo manuals. And there are 17 ranks on the organ scattered out across the 3 manuals and the 32-note AGO concave and radiating pedal board. All the speakers are self-contained in the organ. It consists of a 15-inch woofer for the pedals, a 12-inch and a 6x9-inch speakers for the straight channels, which are the strings and the reeds and the diapasons and the percussions. Then for the tibias, there is a 10-inch rotating Leslie speaker. And between the two, they generate about 80 watts of power, which is more than enough to fill this little bitty teeny tiny living room with all kinds of sound. Now, we give you a little bit of a tour of the instrument. Don't think the camera angle is going to let you see everything, but over here we have the pedal stops. Now there is a tuba and a diapason and a bourdon and a string bass and the 8-foot tibia in the pedals. We have an accompaniment to pedal 8-foot coupler, and we have a sustain for the string bass. And moving on around to the accompaniment manual, we have several reeds and strings, including 3 different horns. We've got the tuba and the echo horn at 8 foot, and we have the horn at 4 foot. We have 2 strings on the accompaniment manual. We have an 8-foot cello and an 8-foot soft string, and the 2 strings celeste against each other quite nice. We have an 8-foot diapason, an 8-foot tibia. We have a 4-foot octave diapason, a 4-foot tibia, and the 2-foot tibia, which makes the accompaniment a really nice manual to play. Now, most of the rankage in the organ is contained in the grate manual. We have a lot of stuff here from here to here controlling the grate. We've got the prerequisite 16-foot tuba. We have the 16-foot diapason and the 16-foot tibia and the 16-foot string. So all families of tone are represented at 16 feet. Then we have the 16-foot vox humana, which sounds a whole lot like boys singing ah. And then we have the 8-foot trumpet and the 8-foot oboe, the 8-foot diapason and 8-foot tibia. We have 2 8-foot strings on here. We've got an 8-foot viol d'orchestre and an 8-foot soft string for the celeste. We also have an 8-foot vox, which sounds like girls singing ooh, and then we have the 4-foot clarion, which is a derivative of the tuba. And we also have a 4-foot octave diapason, a 4-foot tibia, and a 4-foot soft string, which is real nice on the high end. Plus we have a 2 2/3 foot Nazard, and the 2-foot tibia, which is kind of like a piccolo, and then the 1-foot tibia, which is really a fife. Now moving on around, we have the tremulants, and tremulants are kind of interesting because we have 3 degrees of tremulant on this organ. The first one is slow and shallow, and the second one is a little slower and a little deeper, and when you put them all together you have a deep fast tremulant for the main channel. Then for the tibias we have the Leslie available either off, which is the rotor's not spinning at all. Then we can make it spin slowly for the chorale, the chorus, the celestia effect. We can spin it fast to get that beautiful warbling tremolo on the tibia that everybody loves. Now moving on around to the solo manual, which is probably the stops are going to be out of view of the camera, but we've got 7 reeds in the solo, which include the 16-foot bombard, a 16-foot tuba, and 16-foot canura. The canura is really nice. We also have a 16-foot tibia. Then we have an 8-foot post horn. We have a 8-foot clarinet, an 8-foot oboe horn, and an 8-foot sax. Then we have the 4-foot, 5 1/3 foot, and 8-foot tibias, which are really nice. A 5 1/3 the quint really gives you that Blackpool character. And we have a chime harmonic that allows you to play chimes with the tibias. Then there's a number of other controls around on both sides of the key desk. We have the rhythm controls for the key rhythm, such as like tick-tocks and things like that, bass drums and all of that. We've got a rhythm section that's got 24 different rhythms here. It's called the Conn Minimatic, and it does all kinds of wonderful things like, you know, samba beats and things like that. Over here we've got the controls for the reverberation and the controls for tibia harmonics and chiff. If you want to play classical music on the organ, you just turn those on and it sounds like you're sitting in an old picture. Over here on the other side of the key desk we've got the console speaker controls and the Fun Master, which is Conn's version of reiterating percussions and tuned percussions that are derived from the actual stops themselves. So there you have it, a tour of the 1967 317 mighty Conn Electronic Analog Theatre Organ. Now, this instrument was built in Elkhart, Indiana by the C.G. Conn Organ Company. It was one of the last instruments Conn built before the Kimball Organ Company bought them out. It's a fairly massive console. It weighs about 600 pounds, including the pedals and bench. And it's quite large. It's nearly 5 feet across, and the whole thing sticks out from the wall right at 4.5 feet. So it's a pretty good sized instrument. It takes 4 people to move it. I'm real fortunate to have it. In 1967 it sold for over $17,000, and today you can still purchase one. They run anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 depending on what kind of shape they're in and where you get them. But the surprising thing to note about this organ is if you wanted to sell it on the street, you couldn't give it away. People just don't seem to be interested in having organs in their homes anymore. But here at Walnut Hill Productions, we strive to keep this old lady we call Gertrude alive. Thank you for listening. God bless and happy playing.